Hello once again, my name is Will Creeley. I am happy to have you join us for the latest episode of FIREside Chats. I'm joined here at the end of a very busy April by Marieke Tuthill Beck-Coon, FIRE's Director of Litigation, and FIRE Senior Program Officer Adam Steinbaugh. And we are going to talk about a case that dominated the headlines and dominated our inboxes in the final 2 weeks of April. The case of Professor Randa Jarrar from California State University, Fresno, who, as you may have heard, earned herself some unwelcome attention commenting on the death of former First Lady Barbara Bush. Or maybe it's welcome attention. We won't speculate as to motive. Adam, what did Professor Jarrar say?
Well, just a couple of hours after Barbara Bush died, she went on her personal Twitter account and tweeted, "Barbara Bush was a generous and smart and amazing racist who, along with her husband, raised a war criminal. Fuck out of here with your nice words." And then went on to tweet, "PSA, either you are against these pieces of shit and their genocidal ways, or you're part of the problem. That's actually how simple this is. I'm happy the witch is dead. Can't wait for the rest of her family to fall to their demise the way 1.5 million Iraqis have. Bye." This, understandably, caught a lot of attention on Twitter. And people started angrily responding with their own speech, tweeting at her, expressing their offense.
This sounds like a very familiar script, right? We've seen this movie before.
Heard this movie before.
Yeah. She responded to it by saying, all the hate I'm getting almost made me forget how happy I am that George W. Bush is probably really sad right now. And eventually, when people started saying that she should lose her job or lose her ability to write for magazines, she responded, "You can try all you want, I will not be fired, and I know how much that hurts you. You should tag my president, Joseph I. Castro. What I love about being an American professor is my right to free speech. What I love about Fresno State is that I always feel protected and at home here. Go Bulldogs."
Okay, let's do the math here from a First Amendment standpoint. I know, as a lawyer, I went to law school, so I didn't have to do math, but let's do the math. Give me a little poetic license here. Let's do the math, figuratively speaking. Protected speech or not?
100% protected speech.
Okay, why?
Because it's her personal Twitter account.
Personal Twitter account.
She is expressing views on a matter of public concern.
Matter of public concern, passing of a former First Lady. Okay.
And it's her opinion. There's nothing about her expression that would make it unprotected speech, meaning it's a category of speech that is kind of carved out of First Amendment protection, like true threats or obscenity. There is nothing to indicate that, so protected
speech. Adam, you agree? There's also this question of a suicide hotline?
There is that. One guy tweeted at her with a screenshot of her office phone number, basically encouraging people to contact her directly or contact the university directly. And she responded to that by saying, "LOL, OMG, guys, I haven't even activated that line. If you really want to reach me, here's my number." And then she proceeded to give the number of Arizona State University's suicide or crisis hotline, which is operated by a call center in Arizona. And so it's not just Arizona State University's call center, it's a broader call center. And from the media reports, it appears that the call center was able to bring other people on to deal with the influx of calls from this. And they say that they do not believe that anyone who needed support was not able to get through.
Okay, so speaking as a private citizen on a matter of public concern in a way that does not seem to threaten any interest of her employer, Fresno State.
Right.
I guess it's arguable as to Arizona State, but Fresno State. So protected. So what did FIRE do? It sounds like a kind of classic everybody get to the Batmobile kind of situation for us.
Yeah, well, we got in a large Batmobile with a coalition of other organizations that work in the area of free speech and civil liberties.
Should we name them? Let's name them.
Okay.
Who do we
All right,
have?
I gotta
Trivia.
do
Yeah,
the whole
let's
thing.
make sure we get everybody.
Us.
Yeah.
FIRE.
Yeah.
ACLU of Northern California.
Okay.
Defending Rights and Dissent.
Yeah.
National Coalition Against Censorship.
Uh-huh.
PEN America.
Okay.
Thomas Jefferson Center for the Protection of Free Expression.
TJ Center.
TJ Center. Electronic Frontier Foundation, EFF, and Project Censored.
Project Censored, Mickey Huff. So I think that's 8 all told. So we wrote Fresno State and said, hey, protected speech.
Yeah, so this is protected speech under the First Amendment, and we all agree about this. And indeed, it was a pretty straightforward letter in the sense it's, that we write on these issues quite often. We write similar letters quite often in defense of other professors because, unfortunately, this kind of internet mob threatening to, bring the mob inside the school, so to speak, it unfortunately is happening with more frequency.
That's right. We've seen this again and again. Adam, talk to us a little bit about the school's reaction. So it seems to me, first of all, they stayed relatively strong.
At first, the school pointed out to people that this was a professor's private speech. He wasn't speaking on behalf of the university. It was a matter of public concern. So right at the outset, they should have realized, well, this is, they acknowledged that she's speaking in her private capacity and not on behalf of the university. So that's step one of the employer analysis under the First Amendment. So at that point, that morning when we saw that, we thought that she was in pretty good shape in terms of her rights being protected, and the university was prepared to say, people are very upset about this, but our hands are tied by the First Amendment. There's nothing that we can do here.
Right.
Very quickly, however, they called a press conference as people were just continuing to contact the university and express their outrage about this. They called a press conference and they announced the initiation of an investigation into her tweets.
Okay. So as the crowd got louder and angrier, the school's resolve to protecting her First Amendment rights started to waver a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's when they said, we're going to launch a lengthy disciplinary investigation?
Yes, they said it was going to be a long process.
But turns out it wasn't that long. What's the conclusion here?
Within a couple of days of our letter, I don't remember how many days, but it's fewer days than the number of organizations that signed on to the letter, the university announced that her tweets were protected and that they were not going to be able to take any action against her.
Okay.
So that is a welcome conclusion.
All right, so all's well that ends well, or is this the kind of thing that we're going to see happen again, Marieke? What do you think?
I think from what we've seen over especially the past couple of years, I think unfortunately that we'll see it happen again. Hopefully, not to Professor Jarrar and hopefully not at Fresno State, but we will keep an eye on the situation regardless in case it does. And we can almost assuredly expect that Twitter mobs will not be a thing of the past anytime soon, and that professors who say controversial things on Twitter or on other social media will continue to evoke Twitter mobs, and those mobs will put pressure on their universities to try and take some action.
That's right, and we saw this one, this kind of firestorm happen on one end of the political spectrum. We've seen it on the other end, right, with professors espousing conservative views that have caught flack from left-wing folks on Twitter as well. So this is kind of a take-all-comers kind of situation where we've seen it quite often. Adam, what should viewers know about when a professor can get punished? Is there a tweak that might have put this in the possibility of university discipline? I mean, do faculty have free reign?
No, not necessarily. I think that if they engage in speech which is unprotected just as a broad matter, so if they engage in true threats or incitement or a speech that falls into one of the traditionally unprotected categories under the First Amendment, they could be disciplined for that. That, or if they indicate that they are engaging in discrimination in terms of their grading or how they treat students in their classes, that is certainly something that would not be protected.
Right. Or if they just end up not teaching the class that you thought you were getting. If you show up for a geology class and instead you get a lecture of Barbara Bush's failings or accomplishments, if you're a student, you might have a legitimate grievance there.
That would not be geology.
Right, that would not be. Well, that is that. For more analysis on this case, you can check out, of course, our website, thefire.org. You can see our coalition letter. You can see our press release. You can see the university's statement in response. you know, I hate to say it, but I bet you the next time we record one of these, we'll have a brand new outrage mob to reckon with. Until then, thank you so much.
Thanks, Twitter.